Hey everyone, it's Carissa. Welcome to Hello Monday. I'm with you one more time as our sweet Julie continues to get better. I'm happy to report that she will be back with us for Hello Monday next week, but until then, I'm sorry to say you're stuck with me. Today I'm going to be making a Mother's Day card and I'm going to be using this Hero Arts large flower stencil. I'm going to be doing a little embossing with this stencil. I'm also going to be doing some ink blending. I'm taking a little smooth Bristol cardstock here and I'm taping it to my stencil to keep it in place as I run it through my die cut machine and as I do the ink blending on it as well. In order to emboss with this stencil, I have to set up my die cut machine just a little bit differently. I have my multi-purpose platform on tab 1. Then I have my standard cutting plate there. I have my stencil, my paper. Then I have this silicone mat. And then finally, I have the Sizzix Textures Impressions pad. Now, this is a firm surface, but it's a little bit different than your standard cutting plate. I don't know how, but I just know it's different. And once I get those all stacked up, I'm going to run it through my die cut machine. And as I pull it up here, I'm going to flip it over to the back side so that you can see you actually do get that impression. Now, it's not going to be as deep as an embossing folder, but it still gives you a little bit of texture. It's a really nice effect. Now, here's why I went ahead and taped my paper to the stencil, because I wanted that stencil to stay in the same place that it embossed as I do my ink blending. And I'm using my little mini ink blending tools here and some distress inks. I use the Squeeze Lemonade in the center of this flower, and now I'm working on the Tattered Rose. And I have to tell you guys, I have recently discovered this Tattered Rose ink color. It's my favorite. I promise you, it's my favorite now. It's this beautiful, really blushy pink, and it's just perfect. It looks great watercolored. It looks great blended here. I would say that my second favorite color is this worn lipstick, which I'm doing around the outside. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the Tattered Rose and kind of blending it outwards, and then on the outer edges of this piece of paper, I'm using the warm lipstick to kind of deepen that color. Now, as I get this blended on, I'm going to kind of, almost like you would do with Copic markers, I'm going to kind of go back and forth. So once I get that darker color blended on, I'm going to go back to my lighter color here and just kind of blend over the areas where those colors meet. And then I wanted to intensify the yellow that was in that center of that flower. So I went ahead and went back to the Squeeze Lemonade and added some more in the middle. Now, I wasn't quite getting the contrast around the edge that I wanted, so I went back in and with kind of a heavy hand, I added some more worn lipstick around the edge of the stencil, and you can see how that really makes the edge of this flower pop. I mean, these colors look amazing together. I'm wiping off my hands here before I touch my paper because I don't want to get any ink on my paper, but watch this. I'm going to remove the tape from the back of this piece of paper, and as I pull this off of the stencil, you're going to see those beautiful, debossed, clean white lines and that beautiful ink blending. Now, this piece is beautiful on its own, but I thought I would go ahead and take this a step further. I've been inspired lately. Jennifer McGuire has been pulling out her Perfect Pearls. So I am using the Perfect Pearl Pigment Powder in Biscotti, and I am just brushing that all over the surface of this ink blended piece. Now, because distress inks stay wet for a little bit longer, they're not really wet, they just don't dry as quickly. It's going to really grab onto that Perfect Pearl Pigment Powder and hold it in place. And after I get that all blended on there, I'm just taking a Kleenex and kind of buffing off the excess. And you can see this gorgeous shimmery piece that I have. I love this. So now that my card front's all ready to go, I've gone ahead and set that aside and I'm going to work on my sentiment here. I'm using the Positive Word die set here and I'm cutting out the word amazing out of some glitter cardstock. I'll pop it out of that die using my little craft pick from Tim Holtz here. I did use my precision base plate to cut that because it is an intricate die and I was using glitter cardstock, so that tends to help me out. And so once I've got that prepared, I'm going to go ahead and emboss this UR. This is from the Totally Awesome stamp set. This was a part of the latest release from the Essentials by Ellen Line. I've gone ahead and prepped my heavyweight vellum from the Essentials by Ellen Line with my EK Success powder tool. I've stamped that in some Versamark ink onto my vellum, and then I've added some superfine detail embossing powder in white and just heat set that. Now I'm using my trimmer to go ahead and trim that down into a long strip. And I'm going to attach that glitter die cut piece onto that strip of vellum. So I've just added a little bit of the Zig two-way glue pin just along the top of that word. And I'm placing that word just to where it overlaps at the bottom of that vellum piece. So I have my various pieces of my card coming together, and now it's time to work on my card base. I wanted a little bit of texture on my card base. I've created it out of some Neenah 110-pound solar white cardstock. And now I'm inking up this bold diagonal stripes background stamp. This is from My Favorite Things. And I'm using the new Altenew Morning Frost dye ink. I love this gray. It is a beautiful soft color. I've taken my card base over to that background stamp and just rubbed all over that with a piece of scratch paper. And you can see that beautiful gray stripe that I have on my card base now. Now, I did want to add a little bit more of that gold glitter cardstock, of course. So I'm attaching it onto my card front there using a little Be Creative tape. I needed something a little bit stronger than my regular tape runner adhesive. So whenever I'm adhering my glitter cardstock like that, I go ahead and use the Be Creative tape. Now I've gone ahead and cut down my card front and I'm adhering it to my card base. I did add it on using a little foam behind that to give it some dimension. And then I just wanted to give you a helpful tip here. I like to use these rubbing alcohol wipes to clean up my work surface. The rubbing alcohol really helps to break down any adhesive that might have got on my self-healing cutting mat, and it also takes off Copic markers, so they're really great for cleaning up. I can't say that they're necessarily recommended, but I've been using them for quite some time and never had a problem. And then I know my work surface is bacteria-free as well. So in order to create a shadow for my amazing die cut there, I went ahead and used that same gray ink. I took that ink pad direct to the paper, smeared some ink on there, and then I cut it out using that same positive word die. And I'm just adhering it onto the back of that glitter die cut using a little bit more of that Zig two-way glue pin, and I've just offset it a little bit so it has a nice shadow that coordinates with the stripe that I stamped onto my card front. And now in order to adhere this entire piece on, I'm using the Cool Tack clear foam adhesive behind my die cut, as well as behind those embossed words to hold this onto my card front. I've gone ahead and used my scissors to cut this at an angle. You can see here I wasn't quite sure which angle I wanted to cut it at, so I just kept going back and forth until I found the right one. And then I'm going to remove the backer from that Cool Tack clear foam adhesive and adhere it onto my card front. And y'all, if you have never used this Cool Tack foam adhesive, clear foam adhesive, you do not know the pain that it is to remove the backer, but the results are worth it in the end. Now, I wanted this card to be a Mother's Day card, so I've gone ahead and grabbed this 12 Days Companion Greeting stamp set. There is a Happy Mother's Day sentiment in there, and I'm going to stamp it on the inside of my card using some Hero Arts black dye ink. So I've just used my grid mat to help me line it up nice and straight there. And now I've made this card into a Mother's Day card. You could probably use this card for just about anything, but I needed one for my mom because Mother's Day is coming up. So I went ahead and stamped that on the inside. And I'm finishing off my card by adding some sparkling clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my precision tip on my mini glossy accents here to add a layer of glossy accents over that glitter die cut. Really makes it shine and makes that glitter cardstock just pop. So here's a look at the completed card project, doing a little embossing or debossing with your stencils as well as some ink blending. And I really wish I could show you the beautiful sheen this has in real life with that Perfect Pearl pigment powder over that blended ink. Here's the best look that I could get at it here. It's so beautiful in real life. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. And you can find a full list of products along with some more information and more still shots over at the Classroom blog. Be sure to check that out. All these products are available at ellenhudson.com. Thanks for stopping by today, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.